You know how sometimes a game just clicks with you, not because it's the biggest or flashiest game out there, but because it scratches a very specific itch you didn't realize you had. This year, I played over 112 new games, everything from farming sims and life sims to open world survival crafting and shopkeeper games. And honestly, there were a handful that surprised me way more than I ever expected. Hi, I'm LochVaness, and if you're into honest game reviews, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the new cozy game releases. Today, I'm reflecting back on all the games that I played this year and sharing my top 7 cozy games. I'll be sharing what they're about, what makes them stand out in their genre, and honestly just why I love them. So if you're looking for your next favorite game, grab a drink and let's just get started. I do need to preface that these are in no particular order. So to kick us off, we have Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. This is a farming and life sim set in Zephyrtown where your goal isn't just running a farm, it's helping revive a struggling weekly bazaar. You grow crops, raise animals, befriend villagers, and sell your goods directly at the market. What really made this game stand out for me was the whole bazaar system. Instead of just shipping items and forgetting about them like your typical farming sim, you're actually actively preparing for the market every single day. You're setting up your stall, selling to customers in real time. It adds this fun pressure and rhythm to the week that other farming sims lack. Even when it got overwhelming, I honestly kept finding myself coming back to it. I have around 34 hours in this game, and needless to say, this game completely had me in a chokehold. I know it might not be much for some, but for me, who doesn't really have too much time to play games, it definitely is a handful for me. There was just something so satisfying about optimizing my week just to absolutely kill it at the bazaar and sell out in the first half. It felt cozy, but it was also really motivating, like, okay, I just need one more in-game week and I'll be good. It reminded me of why I love farming sims when they actually feel different. Now the next game is Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. This is an action RPG set in a fantasy world inspired by Eastern mythology. You play as a guardian protecting the land of Azuma. You're fighting monsters and uncovering ancient threats. What really stood out to me the most with this game was how it blended fast-paced combat with a really atmospheric world and farming elements. This was actually my first Rune Factory game, so that definitely influenced how much I enjoyed it. Now, honestly, what hooked me with this game were the whole vibes. I really liked how the combat in this game didn't feel overly challenging. I could focus on either combat or farming some days and just flow through the story. There was honestly always something for me to do, and the different seasons really gave it a ton of life where it just lets you slowly unlock things. In games that are like this, they just keep me hooked for hours on end. Moving on to the game that completely stole my heart was Fantasy Life: A Girl Who Steals Time. Fantasy Life is a cozy RPG where you can switch between different lives, like being a cook, blacksmith, mage, or tailor, and you progress through each at your own pace. What really set this game apart for me was definitely the class switching system. You're not locked into one role. I loved the flexibility it gave, but also encouraged you to do other things out of your norm. This game completely hooked me in ways I never thought it would. The highlight was definitely being able to swap between different lives. Like one moment I could be in cook, and the next I could be fighting off monsters as magician, but it never felt like too much. It just all around felt really fun. Now next on this list is surprisingly Little Rocket Lab. This one is all about building, testing, and experimenting with automation in a low stress way. What sets Little Rocket Lab apart from others is its engineering into something cozy and approachable. Instead of punishing you for failing, the game really encourages trial and error. I loved how it slowly teaches you things, and if something doesn't work out, you can completely redo it whenever you want. There's no strict timeline, so you just kind of do as you please. Now, what hooked me was the automation. I like automation games, but this one was just not overwhelming, and I really liked that. I loved figuring out the perfect configurations to make things flow nicely. I cannot tell you how many times I redid my layout so I could get new pieces flowing on their own. Now, moving on to the next game is Burrow Burrow. You play as a little mouse returning to their childhood home, trying to survive winter by crafting, gathering, and restoring a burrow. What stood out to me about this one is it's a survival game, but it is gentle. The focus is a lot more on warmth, comfort, and preparation with a little bit of danger. I like that it didn't shy away from sharing a bit of combat elements and survival things, but it kept it from being overly complicated. You just had to focus on not freezing and or eating. Now, what completely hooked me in this game, the art style completely pulled me in, but the story is definitely what kept me playing the game. I adored going through the story in this game and helping all of the animals. Now we have Strange Antiquities next. In this game, you run an occult shop, identifying magical artifacts for customers who come in with vague, mysterious requests. This game is so unique and challenging in the best way. There's no hand-holding, you actually have to think, read clues, like really read them, and just trust your judgment. Some of the clues are simple, but then others are more searching and reading between the lines, but that just made it all the more worth it when you figured out which one it was. Now, what really got me with this game was how satisfying and rewarding it was when you found out the artifact that the customer was looking for. And lastly, we have Split Fiction. This is a narrative-driven co-op game where you and a friend get to navigate intertwined stories and perspectives. If you've ever played It Takes Two from the same company, but this is on a whole other level. Just like It Takes Two, this game is built around co-op and shared storytelling. The worlds created in this game were so beautiful, and the way that you have to work together was so interesting and meaningful. What really hooked me is that all the worlds that you were going through were actual stories that they had written, and as a reader, it was so cool to see what they came up with and seeing those stories come to life. It was definitely a game that is better because you're going through the story with somebody else. And now, what you guys have all been waiting for, the game that was my favorite of 2025, and it is Fantasy Life: A Girl Who Steals Time. This game didn't just hook me for a few weeks, it completely scratched that itch for me that I was searching for. It let me play how I wanted, when I wanted, and it never made me feel rushed. And honestly, that is just everything that I look for in a cozy game. So yeah, those are all the games that really stood out to me this year. Some surprised me, some completely consumed my life for weeks on end, and some were just perfect after a long day. So let me know in the comments what your top 3 games were from this year. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, like the video and subscribe to see some new cozy game reviews for next year. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, so happy gaming!